And we do the hard cut, and we're there. See, I even managed that on my own, doing that transition. That was actually pretty cool. It's a little hard to kick it off at first, pushing multiple buttons and keeping track of stuff. And we have a couple people, and of course, I did not still fix this. I do not understand why I fail to constantly fix this. Like, this monitor. It's just, it would be such an easy fix. But, okay, so we have Attaway Girl. Hola. Hola. Hello. Hope you're feeling good. You're feeling better. And we got Glenn Webster. We got Heritage Paper. Okay. Hello, Wayne. You know, your parents were a bit silly naming you Heritage Paper. But David Villa. Howdy. And we go through and I get a little wave thing. And evening, everyone. And here we go. How are you this fine Friday? Great, I made it. I'm ready for a good night of Superstition Mountain info. Great, I don't know why you came here. So, first off, I got kind of outed on it. As everybody's kind of like, hey, what happened last Friday? You didn't show up. And everybody figures there was something important going on. And what actually occurred was I got home and I thought, wow, I got about an hour. I can lay down and catch some rest. And I'll just set an alarm, and then somebody will come in and yell at me. And nobody did, and I didn't get over the alarm. And by the time someone mentioned something, it was like 4:15, 4:20, and I was like, what? And yeah, so I was taking a nap. So I realized by the time I got up, and I came out and realized what was going on, it was like 4:30, and I was like, oh, man. I could have come up with a much better story, except the Dons had their Christmas party, and Dallas Wright, who joins us here, Salvador Degadillo, Kim Johnson, others, and Trevor was, anyways. So I think it was Dallas said, hey, Wayne, what happened to you on Friday? And he said, you know, because, you know, a number of people did ask me if I was okay. And, yeah, so I was outed completely. No, he was just taking a nap. So I was actually taking a nap and did not get up. So I found gold. It was in a nap. So that's what it was. So there you go. It is 67 degrees out. See, the temperature's a lot more fun to report when it's like, oh, it's 114 out and all. But when I say it's 67 degrees, sunny and clear, it's just not as cool. Spanish Cannon, yeah. We actually talked about that story. Yes. The Spanish Cannon story. Dallas, myself, and Salvador. They introduced me to it. I wasn't really... I don't follow a lot of stuff like that. So there, and they found that in the foundation. I don't know if everybody's seen the pictures of that cannon, the Spanish cannon found in the foundation of that old Adobe house, but it's pretty cool. It was up in the roots and stuff, and they retrieved that, so that was actually pretty cool find. Shows you just when you think if everybody's found everything, there's something else. Before we get any step further, hey, it's Sunsets, available on Amazon and Amazon Prime. Look who we have, special guest today who just got home. Just throw crap around, huh? What is that? What is this? Hey, and I did the intro too.
It's good.
Intro worked and everything. It's a little tricky because you got to start the streaming, hit it, start the streaming, and then you got to jump around. What's with the freaking attitude, huh? Go boy?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. What are you doing here?
Goodbye.
Oh. Okay, someone left. Okay, Trevor's already jumping into that, moving stuff around and taking care of our little trolls. We have small trolls. I'd like us to have bigger trolls, but you know, we just have small trolls. But it's good to see you, son. Haven't seen you for a while.
I'm really tired. It's been a long week.
Have you talked to Josh yet? No, I haven't talked to Josh. I don't know how to talk to Josh. I watched another episode of Blind Frog Ranch. I have questions, some serious questions about it. So, but no, I just my main question to him, and the first thing is like, did they pay you good? Which I was told they paid him pretty good, and I can get the money. So there, the rest of it, I don't know about. Would you? Oh, you haven't watched the Blind Frog Ranch stuff, really, have you? You watched a little.
I watched that one episode you showed me.
And your thoughts?
I literally haven't been home since like before 9:00.
He was clean shaven before he left.
Nice, yeah.
No, what'd you think
I was
of it?
also like 100 pounds lighter, and yeah.
What'd you think of the Blind Frog Ranch?
There were a lot of questions running through my mind.
Really?
What was the question I told you?
I don't know.
Frank said the same thing.
I don't know.
It was an Indian burial.
Yeah, everybody.
Native American burial ground.
Everybody's
dig.
Yeah, let's dig.
I thought that was against
Let's dig.
the law.
And then that's
What do I know? Yeah.
the good old days of doing a reality TV series. I have some good questions for him. A little more on the serious side of certain things. So, but I still feel it's has to be tongue in cheek because some of the stuff is so silly that I can't think anybody would seriously. I mean, I don't know. See, in the moment when you're doing it, it doesn't seem as funny. So they'll all seem a bit serious what they're doing. But when you look at it and the edit and they put it all together, because, you might be out there. At that point, you do something totally silly and it comes off really like, oh, man. The problem is they might have been out there for 5 or 6 hours and they're just kind of like over it a bit. And they're serious. It's just different. And so they may not realize the humor. There's the cringe. I had my cringes. So, yes, it's cringeworthy, but cringeworthy entertainment. So there you go. So I'm hoping I want to see him in person so we can just sit and talk. So because there's the questions I have are probably not stuff that most people would care about or want to hear. But, yeah. But I will watch, and I ask everybody else to watch, because the only reason you're going to have shows like that, whether you want to take them serious or not, they're only going to be there if you watch. Right now in Discovery, most of their shows do anywhere from 400 to 600,000 people. They're not millions of people watching these things. So if Blind Frog's doing like 500,000 and Gold Rush is doing 500,000, all these shows, if they keep them on the air at those, it's a good thing for everybody. So understand that. Suspense. I don't know about suspense. Hey Taz, nice to see you there, buddy. But no, it makes you puzzled. But I sit back. I don't fast forward through it. I actually will back it up and go, did they really say that? So I enjoy it, and I would think there would be humor. I think Josh will take it in stride, and it's a paycheck. But it's good that stuff's on, and you should watch it, because when you quit watching all of it, then you start to lose it. And it's history's on the thing where it has to be the famous actor, film star who no longer does anything, does a TV show. I think they got Danny Trejo doing one. Of course, they got Lawrence Fishburne doing one. They got a bunch of people, but they kind of go that method. And so that's their thing, putting in their little scripted stuff. They're not, other than Oak Island, I don't know if they're going to go back that direction, doing much of that, and Skinwalker. So we'll see. But yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery seems to like pump money into stuff. So there you go. If you're looking for a place to land with a silly idea that might get more than one season, like Frank once said, if we were on Warner Discovery, we'd be in season 10 or 12. And there's a good possibility of that, because they really seem to stick with stuff regardless. And I know their distribution's pretty decent, because it is Warner Discovery. And so I don't know. But anyways, best to him and best to Josh. If he ever... I've got a dog barking. Dog's excited. But if we ever get to that point, yeah, I hope he watches through. If someone says, you should hear what Wayne's saying about you. He actually watches to this point. I don't know why. There's all kinds of people walking out front. But I hope he watches this point and understand. I'm pulling for him. And I'm asking everybody to watch the show because we're not going to make that much of a difference one way or the other. But it's, at least you can be supportive in that. Drone idiots and we got drone idiots. We just don't call them UFOs. We just say they're drones. And there's people flying drones. We had one night, had orange, I think it was orange and red. I think I talked about it on here. I'm in the pool and I had a beer and I'm smoking a cigarette and I look up and this drone comes. I'm hearing this little light noise and I'm like, what is that? And I look up and I see the lights coming and it comes and circles around and goes. And then another one comes and there was 3 or 4 of them and they were doing little patterns, but they actually are flying quite low. And I was able to recognize them. They're pretty good sized drones too. They were larger size. Nothing like what these people are saying. Oh, it was the size of a pickup truck. But no, I watched them and they were doing all kinds. And that's the only time I ever saw them, that one night. And I don't know what they were doing. So there you go. But yeah, everybody has drones and drone problems. I don't know why. Yeah, they got the drones in California now, and then I heard there's something in Oregon now, and so that was an awkward dig in the area. It wasn't awkward. It was, come on, most of us would be kind of critical. Hey, it's a burial ground. There could be some dead people here. Hey, get the tractor. Let's dig it up. My gosh. You can't do that in here. You make the drum kits and the guitars and everything go. Man, what were you barking at? Why are people continuing to walk around out front? Let me go. They found a pit mine. Suspense. They found a pit mine before someone was digging, and then they just kind of left that, and we never heard about it again, which is one of the big problems I think everyone has with that show, is that they find something, they start to talk about it, and then a week or so, next thing, hey, there's Dallas. Hey, Dallas, I told the truth about the nap. I told everybody I took a nap, and I didn't get up for last week's show, so yes. I've spilled the beans. I knew you'd come in here and ask if I took a nap today. Could have been an orb. Yes, a giant orb with multiple colored lights. Last night I didn't get much sleep either. See, today I was worried if I laid down and I wouldn't get up because some reason about 2 to 3 in the morning, Dexter's out back. He likes to sleep outside, and he got up and was barking, doing a woofing and barking and looking around, and he kept barking and growling, and I was inside watching him and looking and looked at the camera. Can't see what he was bothering him, but he was having some problem with something out there. The other dogs didn't get up or do anything. Rocky was right by the dog door, and he never even raised his head, but Dexter had something on. He had the beat on something. So the biggest boy was out there, so nothing was going to happen to him. But, he was out there for quite a while. So Kim retracted his statement. What did you say, Kim, that required you to retract your statement? There we go. Gil Gold Prospect in San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. He's back at home for the winter. What a great year prospecting. There you go. We'll share. Share. Okay, and then I get to the point. Yeah, I got to fix this. You know what? I shouldn't even say I'm going to do it this weekend because I never do anything this weekend. Kids are home, though, so let's see here. I don't know how Trevor does that, so I just go by that. Healthy Bank. Guitarists do their best work when they're really tired or drunk or completely wiped out on heroin. I had some music I was going to play, but I worried about the feedback through the monitors, through everything. So there was something I worked on this week. I thought doing a treat like that, but some people aren't big on the music side of it, and so we do the lives and we try to stick to the treasure hunting business. So far we talked about Spanish cannons. There was someone that sent, remember I do read all the comments and I answer them and all this. And someone sent me a rather long one, but they did it twice. I was like, wow, they must have copy and pasted it to a couple places. And it was talking about the Doc Thorne stuff, and that's what I remember of it. And I got to still answer that one. That was one of the few I didn't answer. And I wanted to answer it because I was like, it was on the Doc Thorne story we talked about. And I didn't get fully to the end of that. So whoever that was just going through them. I mean, there's a lot of comments, and it's all the videos. We're getting comments on older videos too. So sometimes it's like I don't look at it for a day, and then I'm like, oh, I got 48 comments to go through, and I try to answer them and read them. And some people do like to write a chapter of a book. So, but I read it all the same, and try to get through it. The Lost Dutchman Mind by Robert E. Lee. Any thoughts on that book? Interesting book. I find a lot of the stuff, there's the background stuff. There's a lot of photographs when they were doing that whole thing. A lot of the coolest part about the whole thing in the book and the film, because he did a film. The coolest part is it captured a lot of the Dutch hunters and people in that time period. It captured that stuff in the moment where nobody was going out trying to do films or writing books or talking about the Dutch hunters themselves, which, again, we can note and jump in. Sunsets, which is streaming on Amazon Prime for download, rental, whatever you please. But yeah, it's, that's one of the things is capturing that, and that's one of the things we got to get to here soon. I'm going to have Trevor go through we have hours of old 8mm stuff, and we have not released, and it doesn't really show people, it just shows the mountains, but it's just this old footage, and I think it'd be fun just to put it out there for people to kind of, watch it and kind of see what they see, the difference in the mountains. I would like to get out and film from the same perspective. That would be a pain, and do the same thing and match it up, but that would be all right. Wow, bow wow, healthy bark. These dogs have lungs. They do have lungs. Okay, I got to see what Trevor does on this. Okay, so it's this, and that. Oh, okay, huh. I'm learning as I go. So I'm learning as I go. I didn't know. Okay, I got that. All right, so yeah, Robert E. Lee. If you can find the book, if it's sitting around somewhere, read the book. It's a good one to pick up. I think I have it both in the hardback and in the soft. It's a cool book. It's a good little book, and like I said, I think the copy of the film that Greg has, maybe we put that in. Maybe we did use it for the archival stuff. Because I know we did post some stuff. I'll have to check with Trevor if we didn't. But I know Greg has a 16mm version of the Robert E. Lee film. And we were talking about transferring that. But I thought we'd already done it and posted it. So I'll have to go back and look, or have Trevor look. We should have, I'll have to look at it. So we just take care of this stuff, and it just goes, boy. Okay. So, man, teach me deletion. I'll delete a lot. Man, too bad that doesn't work with people in general. You're just sitting there and hear something stupid, and you can take your finger and go, oop, okay, that stupidity just leaves. Another good book, reading it's a bound edition I was given, is Val Paris, The Phantom of the Superstitions. I talked about it before. I'm on my second time through it, which is Bob Ward. And I'm reading more Bob Ward stuff. And I find it fascinating because it's, unlike Ripples of Lost Echoes, it's a bit like that, but I think it's even better written. He did a nicer job. So I really have enjoyed that one. And there's, I don't know who a couple of the people are. I was talking to Sal about it and asking him if he'd met or knew a couple of those people. But some of them, it appears, it's, that's stuff from Ward in the 60s and 70s, but long before Sal was here. So, and it was nice visiting with Sal. I enjoyed that. Getting to spend Dallas. I enjoyed spending time with you, but yeah, Sal made it a mission of his to go up and meet me and spend some time with me. He said we just don't get to hang out as much as we should and get to talk. And so it was nice to sit with Salvador and have lunch, dinner. So, all right, here we go. I must have had over 1,000 drones flying the West Valley. But here's one of my problems with the whole drone thing. The more people hear about it, the more people with drones are going to send drones up, and it's just going to become stupid. So it's one of the things we wanted to do stuff with drones, and I don't know. I still want to do certain things, ideas I have, but I'm kind of worried of, is it going to be worthwhile to spend the money and do the stuff. I was hoping to run into someone that has a really good drone and go out with them and try to do certain things and then put music or something to it and all, or do some of the story stuff with it, would be cool. But I don't know. So that was one of the things. Well, maybe someone else can do it. Well, not with my voice, but I was thinking, of like take the drone and do a certain area and then do like as a slow flyover as I talk about the area and maybe a story in the area or something. I thought that would be cool. Val Paris, where can you get copies of that? In the Historical Society archives. There's the manuscripts held there. I was fortunate enough for someone who was very, very, very thoughtful, who's been always very thoughtful to me. A lot of really good people, and this is another one of those really good people, had some bound editions made and gifted me a bound edition, which I really appreciate, because rather than going through files and find where I stuck it and stuff, now it sits on my bookshelf. And yes, and I think he knows that I'm a Bob Ward guy, but yeah, that was a very cool thing, and I told him that over Thanksgiving I would read it, and I did, and then slowly I read a chapter or two, a number of pages each night, just kind of like sucking it in, so hoping my memory will pull it all together. Get a gold delete button. Delete. Nah, it's, hopefully it'll run its thing. Trumpet grows in mineralized soil, so it's possible. Okay, I missed something. Trumpet really a sign of potential gold. Okay. Yes, possibly. Well, anything could be a sign of mineralized gold. I mean, it depends how you want to look at it. So, oh, did I? Oh, Taz, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong one, Taz. I really am sorry. Okay, I'm not so good at that. Taz, that was view. Can I undo it? Huh. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. I'm sorry, Taz. I was trying to do... Okay, there you go. And there goes that. But, yeah, the camera on my drone does 4K. Well, that's what we're looking for, Kim. Why don't we hook up and do something, man? And so we'll get a little cart with wheels and wheel you around. Well, that was one of the things, the narration of the drone project was, I looked at it as, what would it be like to do it on ground? And the wilderness area would be tricky because you're not supposed to fly the drones in there. But doing something Frank suggested, do the hikes and then kind of do something as I told the stories, which I did once. We did stories, but we just stopped and did stories on the way to Blacktop and then the way out Black Mesa and through Garden Valley. And we did a handful of little stories, which are still on YouTube. And it's the first telling of the Black Legion, not the Black Legion, the Stickman was from that trip. And Frank said, why don't you do one of those and show a few of the things on the way? And then we'll go from there. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry, Taz, because the gold delete button was actually good, and you weren't deleted because of that. You were deleted because I was put in the wrong spot. So the drone thing is a cool idea. Plus, it would allow us to have. I think it would be cool to have certain areas droned out, and then say, "Here's the physical map coordinates," and then you could look at it through a live drone action, like that. I think that would be cool. Different projects. So I'll talk to Kim. I just got to pick one up, but then I got to be able to fly it, and then one of us has to fly. Guess I would want Trevor more so than myself. But yeah, and it'd be cool to hook it up so where it's on more of on a monitor. So we're sitting under a little something canopy or in the truck on a monitor or something. I will think Sal ought to live with you one night. What? I still think I don't understand that. Okay. I still think Sal oughta be Sal should be live with me. Okay. Not live with me, but live with me. Well, it would be great to have him guest, but then it would have to be to coordinate it and then have to sit down with him and show him what I need, and then hope he's not totally confused. And then you guys would have a really difficult time understanding him. So, I mean, all of us that know him still do at times. The more you're around him, the better you understand. It was funny because we were in a room with a lot of people talking, and I really understood him really well. So I don't know if that filters him somehow or some reason. No remote control planes, no balloons. People break the rules. The problem is if you get caught breaking the rule, it's a pretty stiff penalty. I'll bring it out on the 28th. Okay, do it. Oh, that's right. You said you would be out on the 28th. Let's do smash burgers. Actually, tonight is green chili burritos because the kids are home. So green chili burritos are up tonight. We go south of the border. Good question, Ed. What was Ed's question? I don't know if it was a question, but I think he was talking your statement. But yes. Oh, was it? Is there a LiDAR the superstitions can be viewed? Well, I don't know if it can be viewed. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference because everything in the desert rarely goes, unless you're talking thousands of years and certain structures, the sand and dirt have blown over it. A lot of times everything's pretty close to the surface. That the vegetation, I don't know, everything kind of sticks out. You see something on either satellite or aerial photography, it sticks out in the mountains. I mean, everything does stick out. I would think more than LiDAR would be heat, because I've always thought the heat signatures would tell you a lot, especially if you can do it in the summertime or at the right times where the sun has warmed things up, because you'd be looking for things, or even at night we're looking for hot things, because anything, it is a caldera. So to me, that was always my fascination, to look for hot and cold, because remember, if it does get very cold back in the mountains. Say it's 25, 30 degrees back in the mountains. Any vent and a lot of the cave systems in the mines will actually be warmer, so you would see a warmer area there. And there's no sun to reflect it. We can smash them too. Chili Verde. All right. You would have to do, if Sal was live, we have to do subtitles. AI interpret Sal. I don't know if that would work. It might blow AI's mind. I just finished reading Crooked Mountain. What are your thoughts of the book? I think he did a nice job. It was one of his theories, his thoughts and beliefs, and he turned it into, what do you call it? What do you call that? It's kind of the novelization thing. Man. Anyways, he turned it into the novelization. It was based on the Ted Cox stuff and all. I thought it was very cool. I thought it was pretty well written. I was surprised because when I got it and he first wrote it, I didn't know Ron was really writing books and stuff. I'm trying to remember if he still even publishes that. One of them he quit publishing, and there was a problem with it, and I don't remember what it was. He talked to me. But I know he did that one. He did Deep Fault, Double Cross. He did the one on the other mine. that has a bunch of the Heat Dig. He did an expanded edition of that. They're both on the second shelf over here, and I can't even see them. And then he did his, basically, The Lost Dutchman Mine, the autobiography one. So that's 5, right? Yeah, it should be 5. So I liked it. It was probably my favorite of the bunch because it was a story. I'd went through a lot of Cox stuff and talked to Tom about Ted Cox, and I wasn't really that enamored with a lot of that, but Ron told a really good story of it, and that's all you could ask for. So I think I got a couple copies. I think I got one for me, and then I got one for Trevor. I don't know if Trevor ever read it. He's not here, so I'm late, but I'm here. Yeah, but David, there you are. Oh, yeah, that would be crazy to see the thermal. Yeah, the thermals, I think, because of all the other stuff, day and night, that's always interested me. That was one of the things with the Fleur. I was really, really interested in using that more on the TV show. And I did, but they got really possessive about it because it's expensive, let's face it. It's not cheap, and it's not a toy. But I was really interested in taking it and using it constantly for everything, to always back stuff up and look around at the areas where we were in. Definitely, one of the things I was looking at was because I was looking for cold signatures, because we were filming, remember, in the summertime. So even once the sun went down, the ground was still hot. So if you found something cold, you wanted to check it out. You wanted to look at those subtle changes in the temperatures. And I remember we had it out a couple times, and then they just acted like it was such a pain. And then I used it on the golf course too, by the Gold Canyon Resort with some of the guys. But isolatedly lost, okay? I don't know why I read back anything by... Why would you say that? Yeah, don't say that. Ron's a good guy. I like Ron. Is there any connection of... No, I don't think so. I mean, basically, we know he came to the country. He went to get his citizenship and then took off for the gold fields. And I don't think he was, there was the old story. Remember the old story? He was in the Confederate Army and all this stuff, and him and Weiser together, and they deserted the army. There used to be a pretty big story about that. That was one of those original made-up stories. That was kind of funny, too, because when you look at it, because it's nowhere in the Bark Notes or anything attributed to Petrash or Julia Thomas or anything. And then later they were in the Confederacy and all this stuff, and they worked the Georgia gold fields and all these really in-depth stories and things that happened. And then I think they were supposed to be deserters or something, and they came out, and then, yeah. So that's one of those problems, is that people just continued to add to things. What are you guys going after? There's nothing out there. There was a rabbit last night. Okay, so... So no KGC I've ever heard of or anything like that. I have to remember what book that was that started that whole Jacob Waltz and that story. Yeah, the I think the thermal thing would be cool for day and night, because if you could grid it and set and do certain areas, is you'd want to set it and have something set so you could put it in the exact same spots, and then do it in the morning, like noon, and then in the evening, and then at night, and then just look at each one and see where those differences are. You should be able to tell. It would be cool. I think it really would. The problem is, it would be painstakingly slow working through areas doing it that way. Did Deal really see somebody on the flare? No, it's there. It's on that. There was somebody on it. That is one of the sticking points with me. I asked immediately when they did it, and we were looking at it, we were like, who's up there? And they said, nobody. Everybody's here. And we looked around, and we were like, kind of trying to think of who could be missing. And we said, well, who's up there? And we were talking about it, and then I remember telling the producers, I said, but they're cold. Why is the signature cold? And then we took the Fleur and started moving it around at people and looking at it and going, hold it. Everybody's hot. Why was that cold? And then everybody paused, and then we were looking up, and we couldn't find whoever whatever it was walking the ridge, and because I saw it live when it happened. And I told them, I said, that's really interesting because Dalil didn't touch anything other than just holding it like that. And I said, so I want to know why that person was cold. Does anybody know why that signature was cold and everything around it was hot? And then when we looked around here, everything's hot that's supposed to... I said, I don't know. I don't get it. You guys explain to me what's going on. Is it not calibrated properly? And whoever had it or brought it said, no, it's calibrated. And I said, well, why was that? And then they just dropped it. They were like, look, let's just move on. We got stuff to film. And I'm like, no, that's interesting. And they walked it off. Now, a couple days later, we're in the production office. And I said, I want to see that again. And they brought it up, and we sat there and looked at it on a monitor. And I said, I don't get it. And then they were kind of interested and said, yeah, that is kind of interesting. I said, well, why weren't you listening to me? Why weren't we like sending Dalil and Magnuson up over that way or something, trying to figure out who that was? I mean, there was a lot of people there, but for someone to be that far and away from the group, and especially, you have to remember that time of year, which it was August, had to be late August, September, early September. There were so many snakes in that area. That area was full of rattlesnakes constantly. Walking around in the dark at that time of night, there was snakes everywhere. We were running into them during the day, during the heat of the day. So you can imagine at night that was just loaded. And so everybody was very fully aware to stay away from a lot, not just wander off because of the snakes. So the whole thing was really strange. So that was that. But yes, he did really get that. I say that because I asked Ron to sign my book one time, and the guy spit it. Why did he spit at your feet? That doesn't sound like Ron. Yeah, he's usually asked Dalil what his role in the show was, and he told me to get bent. Oh, okay, now you're just screwing around. Because that's not Dalil. Producers don't like to listen. Well, not in the moment they did, and they didn't even pause. And yeah, Dalil wouldn't tell you to get bent. He might tell you that's a pile of goats. But no, Dalil's very, very super nice guy. He's a sweet kid, man. He's so happy to kind of be very, very kind to people and stuff. So to say that's wrong. And Ron's very, very nice too. I've never seen Ron turn anyone down for anything. If you cross Ron the wrong way, he's probably, if he remembers you, he's going to remember you. You're telling me to get lost. I don't know about that. Lizard Man Run. Lizard Man Run. I don't know what you mean by that, but Lizard Man Run? So, okay. But the producers, yes, the producers don't like, they don't like to listen when something's happening, and I would always, and that was one of the golden rules I remember, as we talked about, was when something happens, let's stop occasionally and kind of look at things so we know. Now, everyone that listens to me and is here right now and has listened through this knows I am not a very superstitious person. I don't really think much of Bigfoot or UFOs or this or that and other things. That's just not my thing, okay? I will watch shows on it. I will do it. I think it's kind of I Love Lucy, to be honest. But it's all right. My problem is when there's something and you're like, well, what the hell was that? I'm still curious and I want to know and I want an answer and I want to look at it. Why is there a live person walking across the ridge and why are they blue? What the hell, man? How come they're all blue like that? That's weird. And I just want to know. And it's, when the people that make the shows, because all those people were involved in things like Ghost Hunters International, Paranormal State, stuff like that, Ghost Mine. When those guys are the ones that have zero interest, I'm like, hold on a second, man. You're the guys that should be totally on to this. I should be the one going, don't bother, it's just some technical glitch. But instead, I really wanted to know. I really wanted to see what they were talking about. And I've seen McKenna's Gold about the Lost Atoms. Yes, McKenna's Gold. That's a cool film. Bad special effects, but good film. Actually, the special effects are resembling Blind Frog Ranches. Throw some more dust in there. Okay, move the camera around a lot. Which is always goes back to, I'm at Fish Creek Hill, and I fall off the hill. And I tumble and I hold the camera, and we still got the footage, and it looks really kind of dorky and stupid because I'm trying to keep the camera from, the phone at the time from getting damaged, and I'm tumbling down, and I went down probably 50, 60, 70 feet, rolling through the brushes and stuff. Got pretty messed up. I got the footage afterwards. I'm all bloody. But I told Trevor, I said, I got the footage, man. And we look at it. It looks so stupid, gimmicky, phony, fake. I was like, oh, we can't use that. And then I saw the stuff on Blind Frog Ranch, and I'm like, should have used it now. Because my stuff was actually real. It just looks stupid because it's just a guy holding the camera, tumbling. Ow, 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 bang, boom. So, and a lot of swear words in there as I tumbled. Careful, you can be too open-minded. I tried open-minded thing and ended up in a hippie commune. Well, I'm not open-minded. I think you should always have a level of just general interest in all things and say, okay, what is that? And when you don't have, when you're sitting there and looking at something you don't know, you just kind of should have some curiosity. I don't think that'll wind you up in a hippie. Is there such a thing? Well, there's probably hippie communes. They probably still exist somewhere. I don't know. Never was a fan of hippies. I grew up in the 70s, and I remember hippies for what they were in the 70s. The hippie counterculture groups. I don't know why the Good, Bad, and the Ugly song is playing through here. What's going on here? That's weird. Someone's turned the TV up so the Good, Bad, and the Uglies. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I think Trevor's playing clips, audio clips or something. Tyler does a lot of the, what do you call it? It's sound sampling and, okay, yeah, they're playing with sounds and stuff. And they're probably something Tyler was working on, and Trevor's showing them stuff he worked on. Inquisitive minds gotta know. Well, I think everybody wants to know stuff. Tension seeking, chat mode engaged. Bad lump ching. Alright. Yep, sure can. Okay. Is that a Telecaster bass? No, that's a Fender Jazz bass. Okay. And I've told that story before. A buddy of mine I played with and knew for years. He was in a band, and we were going to put a band together, and then he joined another band, and then I helped him support with his band, and then we jammed together, we played together, and then we recorded together. And he passed away a while back, but he always, most of the time we played, he played this red and white Fender. And when I wanted to get a bass for using in the studio and stuff, that was my thing. Is I was like, I want a red and white Fender just like Chuck had. And that was the reason I got it, was it just kind of matched his, and I just wanted it because of that. Kind of that little sentimental thing there. I saw some recent pictures of Clay at his 95th birthday. He looks pretty good. He looked like he was having a good day that day, so and that's good. I'm glad. But he's got a lot of people taking care of him now, and that's fundamentally, I think, before he had people looking in, and he was taking falls, and there were a lot of problems. So I'm hoping he's around a few more years. He's 95, so he's got a few more. I just saw a clip of Dick Van Dyke dancing, and he's 99, so yeah, you know what, these guys can hang in there and do a lot. Fistful of Dollars, no, that one, I don't know. It's stopped, whatever it was. I don't know what those guys were doing. I don't know if they were just trying to rib me in here. Or, I don't know. They're being weird. Green chili burrito night in Coors Light. So that's... Can get better than that. That's actually pretty good. And I can smell it. That's the worst part, is you're sitting here and we're doing this and I'm kind of smelling it waft through occasionally, and I'm thinking, man, that is starting to... So, that all being said and done, yeah, it's been a good week. I know I talked to Shoes. I did talk to Frank. I've talked to Frank. And me and Frank, yeah, we talked a few different times. We just talked yesterday. And I obviously saw Sal in Dallas. But, yeah, it's just been kind of randomness and getting ready to go. One of the problems is getting kind of everybody like, okay, it's, once the holidays hit, it's like the weather's great, let's go do something. And then everybody's got something going on every weekend around there. And that's been tough, So I've been wanting to get out and do some things and told Frank, let's do a short one. Let's do a long hike. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's just take a drive. I've tried to find every possible way to lure him. And he just kind of goes, I'll get back to you. And he does, but he doesn't give me an answer on anything. He just talks to me about something else. And so, talking to everybody and then just kind of waiting. Hey, and our busy meaning to get out myself. Yeah, and it gets tough, because you want to get out, and I don't announce it on here. It's like, we could be filming stuff, could be doing some stuff, and get him a bike. I think that would be dangerous at this point at his age, out in the mountains. He goes for walks and stuff. It's just, being in those washes and going up those hills and through that rocky, because we never know what we're going to run into in the terrain and what's going to happen. So it can be pretty taxing. You got to remember, all the way you go in, you have to come back out. You have to cover the same ground at least, unless you have work out a decent loop hike. So it's always problematic. He understands that. And I always believe you try to keep pushing yourself a bit, so you always know kind of where that limited is, and you can kind of back off on that on the rest of the year. But yeah, I don't know, and I understand, because just what's happened with several people is you take a fall, and that can be really detrimental. And when you're in your late 70s, it can change the rest of your life from that point forward. And each time it happens, it causes people to react badly, of like, so you don't know what someone's doing. Someone might be having a balance issue or this or that. Not saying Frank has any problems, just saying I'm sure he's being more proactive about, he keeps telling me to be careful and realizing I won't. But I think, I always like to think you do what you do until you can't. And you do it with a good conscience, and you kind of think it out. But to wait until spring, a lot of foot of snow here. Well, that's why you shouldn't live where there's a lot of snow. Do you ever take pictures and questions the auroras in the pictures? I don't never see auroras or anything like that in my pictures. So I just take regular pictures, and I don't take them with anything fancy or anything. I don't think I've ever seen anything. The only thing I ever see is a lot of dust spores in the air when we're in a mine or a cave, which I've said before, those seem to have disappeared out of all my pictures once I got more into the digital and got out of a lot of the other stuff and was going with a different type, and rather than flashes and stuff, it seems to have gotten rid of all those. So I used to have lots of orbs, and then I got better cameras and better stuff, and then I mentioned to Trevor one day, well, we went through there wasn't a single orb, and he explained to me this and that and this stuff about the camera and how that wouldn't happen. And I said, you think the ghost hunting guys would do that, is bring a camera that doesn't show the dust particles and stuff like that, and then definitely has the shutter speed that they would be able to freeze it and be able to tell the bugs, with the wings in it. And of course they don't, so because that would ruin the show. I miss those shows right now. There's none of them are showing really anything good. I don't like the ones where they get way too hokey. I like them when they're kind of silly and stupid, but they're kind of fun still. Then they get where they're so thick serious that it's not even fun. You're just like, okay, this is nope, and I click it off. Desert pictures, that is. Well, I take pictures of the desert, and I pick them at day and night and different desert pictures. I don't know. Yeah, healing is a big difference too. You don't heal as much as quickly and stuff. That stuff. Polaroid. Oh my God, Polaroid. Yes, I've always found that funny. Is like we could do an entire show on me explaining ghost hunting equipment and why it is what it is, because it doesn't really give you evidence. It gives you something to talk about, which is what they want. If you sat there and said, oh, well, let's take a theremin and move it around, and let's take walkie-talkies all over the place. And, the best part about some of the shows is when they're finding stuff and saying, there's nobody in the room with me. And you just saw the camera angles from those corners of the room and the cameraman moving. And then they show the room and there's nobody there. And you're like, hold it. He just stepped around the corner. We're not stupid. There's no camera there now. There was just a camera there filming you. So, hey, it's not meant to be dissected. It's meant to be enjoyed and be silly and fun. I'm not going to waste my time on Polaroids. I have a Polaroid camera. I don't see any, and they don't. The photos don't last, and they're not as good, and they're not digital. And Polaroid is old, reliable. Cryptids only pose for potato cameras. Yes, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. So that's a discussion. That's the silly discussion when the bottle's getting passed around the campfire, and I get to laugh a lot and look around at people, and I'm able to basically, okay, that's one that should stay at home. That's one that should stay at home. That's one that should. One of the problems with people that believe in things is they've already have the preconceived notion to believe in things, which gives them that fearfulness and now that stuff and the heightened anxiety, and then they go out there and then there's always problems and they worry about things and they're always looking for things. I mean, it's funny, but if you're looking for stuff, you're going to already be looking for it and not trying to explain it. It's much better to have the open-mindedness of going, what the hell was that? What could that be? Could that be a drone? I don't know. And kind of having that should be everybody's mindset. Instead, there's plenty of people that just go, okay, well, that must have been a UFO. That must have been an orb. That must have been Bigfoot. And that's what once you do that, it's kind of, and if you're looking for it in the first place, I mean, come on, you should be going out to say, hey, is there anything unusual activity out here? You should not be saying we're hunting down Bigfoot and we'll hit some trees with sticks and get a guy to go woo, and then anybody else in the canyon that goes woo back, we go, oh, that was an authentic Bigfoot call. Well, you made the same noise with that. Okay, make a bogus Bigfoot. We talked about doing stuff like that, but it's like it's not worth the effort. Any plans to continue in your series? Well, we'll do the YouTube stuff. We already got stuff on YouTube. We got to kind of wrap up what we want to do with that. That's a question to a question sober. Who's best? I just watched a Superstition video. My show on television about one thing: money. Well, it is, because why are they showing it if it's not about... No, it's not about money. It's about advertising, because advertising generates... It is all about money. Have you been to the mine shaft by Weeks Wash off First Water Road? I found 2 shafts. There's a lot of shafts out there, a lot of old shafts, and a lot of them are still under claims by a lot of people. There's a story of that one hill before you get to the horse corral parking lot where they found 2 gold bars or 3. I'm going to have to get that story back and kind of go through it. I think we told it to some degree, but I know that was a Dan Hopper. Dan Hopper later told me he didn't tell me the story, and I was like, no, Dan, you told me the story. That was a Dan Hopper story, and they dug up part of that hill, finding that. And we're back into the old Wild West. TV is for drama, internet is factual, right? Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, everybody has access to the internet, so why wouldn't it be the factual one, right? Because there's no idiots or anybody trying to, like, pull a prank on anyone. The guy was talking about everything from little people, vicious people, and cryptids. He had 100 stories in 90 minutes, all very all-inclusive. Did they come from different cultures and stuff? That would be all-inclusive. No, internet is anti-factual. I don't go one way or the other. The internet's a very good thing. It's been misused. But one of the problems with anything is anyone that has an education can write a book. Anyone that has the money to get the book published can publish said book. People can put books out that are absolute garbage, but books are a necessity for knowledge and transferring knowledge, much like we can say the internet is. So you can't say books are bad. You can say there are people that shouldn't be writing books, but there's no license to write a book, and there's no, if a guy wants to write that Sedona is full of covered sandstone covering crystal castles of the Atlanteans, and there's this lost race, and there's machines underground, and all this stuff, and write the most preposterous book in you've ever heard of, that's fine. And if people buy it and want to believe it, you got to wonder about those people. But it's going to happen. If you read anything from academic side of things, it's usually so dry and boring and so tough that it's rough. I've been doing your kill thing here. I've been getting rid of people. So we haven't had anybody. They seem to kind of stop a little bit.
Oh, you figured it out now?
Well, yeah, because I just go down to the little dots, and then I just send them away. I actually did it to Taz. I felt bad. He made a funny comment about my golden button, and then I used my golden button on him accidentally because there was one comment underneath him, and I accidentally golden buttoned Taz. So that'll teach him to make a joke about my golden button. Yeah.
Can you undo it?
No, I couldn't figure out how to undo it. Well, I tried.
It's right there. Was this a new comment?
No, it shows at the end of it, wherever the comment was. Here goes Trevor. Okay, it does not say to redo it. It's way up, but yes, I saw it, and I apologized on air because I suddenly realized, oh crap, man. Yeah, so I got to be a little more sensitive of like what I'm doing and make sure I'm doing it right. So Glenn said, hey, Trevor.
Said hi.
Okay, Lacey, David and I are listening while driving. Well, that's good, because if you were watching, that would be silly, because it's just me sitting here and Trevor standing in the background. Even though there is the Chasing Legends sign. Lit! It's lit! It's lit! Okay. There's an echo in here. Caution Trolls Kill Zone. There you go. And the people that really find things stay away and wait for the right timing. That's true, too. You should always... Well, I don't know. There's people that find stuff and go in there and die. So there's that problem. He is cruel. Watch it, fellas. I got a golden button. Yeah, I just felt horrible. I mean, those moments, it's just... I thought I had the right one, and I looked across, and I thought, okay. And then I realized the guy that made the joke about me using the golden button, I went to use the golden button.
Well, I think if you click on their name in the future, it pops it up so you can hit the right person.
I also put someone in timeout. I felt pretty proud of that, and then I blocked someone. So I got power hungry. Yeah, oh, wow. The guy that never deletes anyone's comment got power hungry. Ooh.
And you were giving me a hard time about that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I generally just figure live and let live, but today I was just kind of like, we're zipping through and everybody's having nice conversations, and some people are joking off and on, but it's not necessarily trolling. And I just decided, what was with the Clint Eastwood thing going on in there?
Oh, so my students made projects, and I was showing them some of the projects that they made. So
Yeah, we all
They
appreciate that was piping in.
I didn't know it was that loud.
Yes, it was very loud.
They had to do rock, paper, scissors duels.
Yeah.
So there was a couple kids that did like Wild West themed. It did like a whole standoff, and
okay.
It was pretty amusing.
Well, we've got our hour in, and it's time for grocery pickups, and it's green chili enchilada night. Burritos. Sorry, burritos. Say it like a real Mexican. Do I need to get your sister to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Burritos. Say Toledo. Toledo, Spain. Toledo. Okay. No. So tonight you gonna have a Coors with that?
Yeah, probably.
Coors with that. All right. So everybody, I thank you so much. Wasn't, we've had the nights where we've had 101 really great questions. I'm not saying it wasn't great questions. The questions that were there, and it was good. Enjoyed it. I want to get to my green chili burritos, my burritos, and I want to scarf some of those up and get to the rest of my evening and chill out a bit. Didn't get a nap today, but we want to take care of all that. Yeah, I showed up. That's why I didn't get a nap. But what? Oh, okay. Everybody's just kind of having a good time. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining in and everything. Catch us again on Chasing Legends. We will try to make it every Friday. This was the only Friday I really worried about because getting the kids and stuff, and it did work out really good. So I'm a good listener and I'm a good reader. I also could be a good writer. I hope everybody did enjoy it and we kind of get back in the groove and stuff. Like I said, we got the opening now. We got to find a finished close. I told Trevor, I said, man, I need another button for a close. Because that would be nice to have a close like the Sunset's close where Tyler turns and walks off into the distance. See, that'd be perfect. So need to do that. And then, but anyways, so again, mentioning that, everybody pick up a copy of Sunsets. So cool, but it's doing really well. Trevor's pretty happy with it. He's getting a lot of great compliments, and we're getting a lot of great 5-star reviews. Check out this Wednesday again, Josh Feldman and Blind Frog Ranch, and all the silliness and all the Can we do a fade? He's not here, and I don't like to press the buttons because then all hell breaks loose when I start pushing buttons. I know how to start, stop, go to the intro. I know the Chasing Legend camera, and I know the things to set up. And like if I have a problem with the camera or I have to do something, there is a fade button, but I don't know if the fade works. See, this is where we got to mess with it. And when we mess with it, it's have the screen up over there, and we're in looking at it and watching and listening to it. So I do have a fade button. I've not used it. I have a scene transition button too, and I'm not sure how to do that. And the other problem is I'm one guy sitting here. If there's someone else sitting there can do this stuff, it's kind of cool. For me, it's very distracting to be looking at these different screens and trying to do it all. So we will get to it. We got what do we got? So we got a couple more weeks. We got a couple more weeks before we hit the end of the year. And I wanted new music, and I wanted something different for Chasing Legends and Legends Live. We kind of got the Legends Live rolling, so we'll see what happens and see where we get with all this. But I want to thank everybody for joining in from first to last. How about playing a tune as we leave? Well, that would mean I'd have to get up and grab a guitar because there's nothing here. I can play this rock. I can play a rock. I have a slide, but there's no guitar. I have drumsticks. See, the drumsticks are up here. Got sticks, but no drum. Oh no. There you go. There's the song for the night. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing really here. Yeah, when I go to do this, I clear the area a bit because I want to have my drink and stuff here and not the clutter. Once we're done here, I'll go back into music mode, and there'll be quite the clutter here for me working through it. I'm trying to figure out what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a white noise coming through the room. Anyways, there it is. Thank you, everybody. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Everybody have a great time. Thank you for joining us always. And as always, I will be checking comments further after this if you get in late and whatnot. Again, my apologies to not only missing last week, but to Taz for using my golden buzzer on him. Of all the people, it just, and the comments to do that too. I would, maybe he took it as I was just kind of being a smart ass at the time or whatnot, but that just was, I actually feel kind of bad about it. So everybody have a great, wonderful rest of the evening. We will catch you next week here on